Hi, we're going to work on Computer Science Discoveries, Unit 3, Lesson 4, Shapes and Parameters. When we go into Task 1, we can see that we have some new code here. Background color, so that would be the color of the entire background. The ellipse and the rectangle are still here from the previous lesson. And if we take a look at them a little bit more closely, we're going to see that they both have X, Y, W, H. X, Y, W, H. So what we have to remember is that the X, the X position, that's going to be where it is left, right. The Y position is where it is going to be up, down. The W is the width, so that is how long it is going to be. And the H is the height, so that is how tall it is going to be. So if I were going to create a rectangle, and that rectangle, if I said that I wanted its X position to be at 100 and its Y position to be at 200, that means that the upper left-hand corner of this rectangle would be at 100, 200, about right here. And if I wanted its W, its width, to be 200 wide, and its height to be 100 tall, that means that it would be 200 wide and 100 tall. So that is, sorry about that, that is what that rectangle would look like based on the location that I'd asked it to be in, and also based on the width and the height. So things to think about. Another thing to think about is if I would put this XY location, if I would have put this at negative 100, 200, not 100, 200, but negative 100, 200, then that means that this upper left-hand point would start out here. It would start beyond the screen. So just something to think about for as we continue on. All right. Okay, so I'm going to need to change my version history to start over. Anytime that you start a code and maybe make a mistake or take it too far or forget what the initial code was, you can always go to version history and start over, and that'll take you back to square one, what was originally put on that screen for you. So right now when I take a look at these two rectangles, I see that the blue one is longer and the red one is shorter. But if I look at what the expected outcome is over here on the right, they are looking for the blue to be short and the red to be tall. At first glance, you would think that I might just be able to flip-flop this code. But unfortunately, that's going to move the location. So we don't want to do that. What we do want to do though, so now we're back to square one. What we do want to do is we want to keep the X and the Y positions exactly where they were. And instead of having the blue one be 200 pixels long, we want to make that 150, which is exactly what the red was. And the red, we want to change from 150 to 200. There we go. All right. So for this particular task, we are given a green circle, a green ellipse. It's more of an oval. And now we need to put an orange one. So I know that I need my fill to be orange. And I know that I'm looking for an ellipse. I am going to keep my ellipses X and Y position at 200, 200 so that the center is still in center with the green one. And instead of making it, right now it's at 400, 400. So it's just a big circle that goes left to right, up and down. It's filling almost the entire screen. I want it to be more of like an oval. So instead of making it 400, 400, I want to make it a little bit wider than the green. So I'm going to make it 250. And I want to make it taller than the green, but not all the way to the top of the screen. So I'm just going to make it 350. All right, that looks like a good oval. We have a problem now. The problem is that the orange oval is on top of the green oval. So I'm going to move the green down. Oops, sorry. Because if you remember, the order that you place these shapes and everything in here absolutely matters. So whatever is placed first will be first on the paper. So we've first put down the orange oval and then put the green oval on top of that. Now we're in business. All right. So right now we are looking at a yellow screen and there's a blue square. So if we take a look at the background, it says sometimes you want to fill the entire screen with a color. For that, you can use background. It covers everything on the screen with the color you choose. So right now they do have the background as yellow, but if you look, that background is in task number 3 or line number 3 in the code. So that's a little concerning. We're going to have to talk about that. They want us to run the code to see the background work. So we've done that. We've pressed run and we can see that the background is yellow. They want us to now change the background from yellow to orange. So I'm going to go to line 3 of my code and type in the word orange. Spelling does count. If you misspell the word orange, the computer is not going to know the color that you're looking for. So now I have an orange background and I can see that blue square. But if you remember, I was a little concerned about the background being in line 3. It says challenge. There is a purple square that is covered up by the background. They changed the order of the code so you can see both the purple and blue squares. So I'm going to move that up to the first position because I want the background to be in the background. Then I want to see the purple square. Then I want to see the blue square. And there I go. All right, so now we have a green circle. And what we're looking to do is to put a black background. We need to put the black background behind the green circle. So I need to decide where am I going to move this background. Am I going to put it here? No, if I put it there, it's going to cover up the green circle. I have to put it in the first position. I'm going to name it black because I want a black background. And there we go. All right. So now for task 6. What they've given us is they've given us a little sunshine up here, and then they've given us, it looks like a piece of grass, but it almost looks like a cliff. If you walked across this, you'd fall off. That would hurt. So let's show our grid here. Let's see what we have. So the sun is fine, the blue background is fine. But this grass doesn't look like it's all the way across. Well, if I look at the grass, and you'll notice that there are things in gray. The things in gray are comments, just to help you. You can put a comment in if it's necessary. So if you were drawing a large picture and you wanted to remind yourself what each of the components were, then using a comment would be a good way to help kind of keep you on track. Right now, that's all we have for our code. You will be getting to a point where you have this entire thing filled with code, and you will have to scroll down for the rest of your code. So using comments to keep you on track will be beneficial at that point. So just keep that in mind. So right now, if I take a look at the grass right here, draw grass, so it's easy for me to see where the grass is. It looks like the grass starts at 0, 300. So 0, 300 brings us here. So this is the starting point of this rectangle. And then that rectangle is 200 pixels wide. Well, 200 pixels only takes me to the center of the screen. I actually needed to go all the way across. So I have to remind myself, how far is all the way across? Well, all the way across is 400. So I'm going to need to change that 200 to 400. And there I have it. I'm going to take my grid off so I can see the pretty picture. Isn't that beautiful? All right. In number 7, you're being asked to practice with parameters. So take a few minutes and work on these tasks. If you need specific help with any of them, feel free to ask for some help. Letter B is a little bit of a challenge. But as soon as you figure it out, you'll be fine. And do at least one of these. If you are finding this to be easy and you want to try to practice a little bit more, or if you feel like you need a little bit more practice, then you should do more than one. All right. In task 8, what we're looking at here is we have this scene that we had in our last in the previous task where we had this scene without a cloud. So now we have the grass, the sun, but now they've put in a cloud up here. So we have to take a look at that cloud. I need that cloud to actually be oblong, not tall. I need it to look more like Stewie's head rather than Marge's hair. So let's take a look at where the cloud is. So the cloud is set to be at 150, 100. So if I take a look, 150, 100, that's the center of the cloud. And the cloud's width is 100 and its height is 200. Oh, well, what if I flip-flop those? Just so you know, when I go through and rewrite code, I use the tab key to go from, blank space to blank space. It just makes it a lot easier for me to get around rather than using my mouse and the cursor and all of that. All right, take away my grid so I can see the pretty picture, and I look good. All right, and in task 9, you're being faced with a few different challenges. So take a few minutes and do at least one of these, but try to challenge yourself and do a few. I hope this was helpful for you.